So let me start off by saying that body scans by themselves cannot heal pain, and they do not necessarily make your pain go away. I'm starting to notice more and more pop psychology and even some therapists marketing body scans as treatment for chronic pain, and that is not how that works. Body scans are reconnaissance work. They're functionally you calling up your body and saying, yo, what's going on? And the physical sensations are your body's report. Like, this is what's going on. Your nervous system sees physical pain, psychological trauma, being hungry, being cold, being too hot, being stressed out, and being overstimulated as all the same thing. It's all a stress and all a danger to be faced until it becomes too overwhelming. So if pain is a trauma, and it is, then chronic pain is a trauma that your body has figured out that it can't fight or flight or freeze or fawn or shut down, etc. its way out of. So it shuts down instead to protect itself, like we've learned in the past. So working with chronic pain is working with a body that is traumatized and in survival mode. It's important to remember that learning and teaching these somatic tools is not about following a manual. It's instead about learning how your body works and functions as is. You're using the body scan to take note of which parts of your nervous system are activated right now and what your body is trying to communicate to you about its needs, and how you and your community can meet the needs that your body is communicating to you. Assuming that your body has been living in dorsal vagus shutdown at least some of the time to help you live with the pain, I would not disrespect the work that your body has put in by grounding and body scanning any old time. That's rude. Your body needs preparation, it needs grace, it needs care. If you try to do the grounding and the body scanning with no prep or anything, your body may very well reject your call. Chronic pain has physical and psychological parts to it. There's the actual physical cause of the pain. That could be an injury, it could be a syndrome, etc. And then there are the psychological parts to chronic pain, which are just as real. The internalized ableism, the shame, the stress of living in a body that's in chronic survival mode, the trying to survive in a society that oppresses disabled people, the grief and loss from interpersonal relationships falling apart, how living with pain affects our actions, behaviors, choices, etc. And all of this needs to be taken into consideration when starting somatic work, both by the client, you, and by the therapist. There needs to be grace and accommodations to somatic work to match the person's body and their body's needs. Just like I do with all of my clients dealing with dissociation and other dorsal vagus related experiences, I always suggest to clients living with chronic pain to try grounding and body scanning in pleasurable moments to ease their nervous system into being present and to receiving the body scan phone call, instead of just choosing a random moment. I've suggested that clients try grounding and body scanning during physical therapy appointments that aren't too intense, especially during somatic massage appointments. The physical contact from a trusted specialist can be very grounding and can help your body process some things. You could also try grounding and body scanning after using your pain management strategies or working around flare-ups. Or you could practice grounding and body scanning under a blanket, ideally a weighted blanket, to block out any extra external sensations and stimuli. Sometimes we feel so unsafe that we need to link up with another person's nervous system in order to feel safe enough to regulate. Ideally, this would be someone you trust and someone you don't feel complicated about in that moment. This can look like grounding and body scanning into a hug, maybe a cuddling session, maybe sharing a meal, reminiscing about good times, or watching a comfort movie together. but that combination of doing something pleasurable and linking up with a trusted nervous system to help jumpstart your car, which is your nervous system. You know what I'm trying to do there, right? But that can really do some things for you and help you practice that skill in a safer way so your body can gain some XP points. Let me quickly talk about some other ways that you can modify and customize the body scan to suit your needs. Although the most common way that I've seen people scan is sitting down, shoulders rolled to the back, feet firmly planted on the ground. That's definitely the most common way, but that's actually not the only way to scan. You can scan while sitting. You can scan cross-legged, sitting on the floor. You can scan sitting on a yoga mat. You can also scan while standing. You could be in a subway car holding on to the pole and just scan. You could scan while walking. You could be on your way somewhere and be like, let me check in with myself real quick. Mid-stride like a real New Yorker. Or you can even scan while laying down. Laying down on a yoga mat, laying down on the bed, it's up to you, it's your world. If you have issues focusing, like let's say you start to do the scan and then you get to like your eyes or something and your brain starts to just kind of, one, that's fine. Also, maybe you shouldn't be the narrator to the body scan and doing the body scan at the same time, right? Maybe being the person to say, now move to your mouth, now move to your chest, right? And being the person that has to actually take note of what's going on might be too much, and that's okay, that's fine. That's when I would suggest using a video or an audio or something like that, so someone else can take the responsibility of being the narrator and all you have to do is keeping track of what's going on in here. And also, if someone else is doing the narration, if someone else is doing the talking, then even if you get distracted, you can always pause or you can always bring yourself right back to their voice. It's a little easier to get back in focus if you only have one task to do. So stimming is your body's way of regulating itself, and it might actually help you focus if that was a problem you had from before. You could, for whatever reason, need to stim while you scan, and that's totally okay. Ideally, you want to choose a stim that isn't going to distract from the scan. So maybe some rocking, using a fidget toy in one hand or something, maybe doing some light tapping, tapping your feet, tapping your hands, something like that. Something that fits the moment, potentially can be grounding for you. If this was helpful or interesting to you, please consider donating, joining my $3 Patreon, or sponsoring someone directly so I can continue to provide free somatic psychotherapy to Black people. Thank you so much.